Most people believe danger comes from taking risks, from unstable jobs, uncertain decisions, unpredictable paths. But the greatest risk rarely feels dangerous at all. It feels safe. It feels responsible. It feels like making the right choice, because safety, when repeated long enough, quietly turns into limitation. And most people never notice the moment when protection becomes restriction. They only notice years later, when change suddenly feels impossible. There is an idea deeply embedded in modern life. If you make careful decisions, stability will eventually protect you. Choose reliability over uncertainty. Choose consistency over experimentation. Choose the path that minimizes risk. At first, this strategy works perfectly. You build routines. Income becomes predictable. Life becomes easier to manage. Stress decreases. The future looks organized instead of chaotic. Nothing appears wrong, which is why the stability illusion is so powerful. Because stability does not stop growth immediately. It slows it gradually. The human brain adapts quickly to predictable environments. Once outcomes become familiar, attention decreases. You stop scanning for alternatives. You stop questioning assumptions. You stop preparing for change because nothing demands preparation anymore. Stability removes urgency, and urgency is often the engine of evolution. Without urgency, improvement feels optional. You begin optimizing comfort instead of expanding capability. Your decisions become smaller, safer, more efficient inside existing structures. You refine routines instead of redesigning direction. From the outside, this looks like maturity. From the inside, it feels like progress. But something subtle begins happening beneath the surface. Your tolerance for uncertainty shrinks. Situations that once felt manageable now feel stressful. Opportunities involving ambiguity feel exhausting. Even positive change begins to look disruptive. The brain starts protecting predictability, and protection creates inertia. Inertia is dangerous because it hides itself behind logic. You tell yourself you are being realistic, that stability is necessary, that risk belongs to earlier stages of life. These thoughts feel rational, yet they often emerge not from wisdom, but from adaptation. Humans are extraordinarily good at adapting to environments, even environments that slowly reduce future flexibility. The same mechanism that allows comfort also reduces readiness for change. And change, unlike stability, never stops arriving. Technology evolves, expectations shift, entire industries reorganize quietly. Skills that once guaranteed security lose relevance without warning. But stability creates the illusion that tomorrow will resemble today. It encourages long-term decisions based on short-term conditions. This is where the illusion becomes dangerous, because stability feels strongest right before disruption becomes visible. Imagine standing in perfectly calm water, moments before a tide changes. Nothing signals movement yet. The surface remains smooth. You feel secure because nothing appears unstable. But beneath the surface, forces are already shifting. Economic systems behave the same way. For long periods, stability appears permanent. Careers feel secure. Structures feel reliable. Experience feels protective. Then suddenly, change accelerates. And those most adapted to stability experience the greatest shock, not because they lack intelligence, because stability reduced adaptability. This is the paradox few people recognize. The safer life feels, the less prepared people often become for change. And preparation matters more than prediction. Many intelligent individuals fall into this illusion precisely because stability rewards competence. The better you perform within a predictable system, the more the system reinforces your behavior. Promotions reward consistency. Income rewards reliability. Recognition rewards predictability. Every signal tells you to continue doing exactly what already works. And slowly, success strengthens dependence. You become valuable inside one structure, while becoming less practiced outside it. Your world narrows without appearing smaller. Options decrease without feeling lost. Until one day, a simple question appears, usually quietly, often unexpectedly. What happens if stability changes? For most people, that question remains theoretical, until it isn't. And the moment it stops being theoretical is the moment the stability illusion reveals itself. Because stability was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be temporary alignment between you and a constantly changing world. And confusing temporary alignment with long-term security is how safe choices slowly become dangerous. Once stability becomes normal, something shifts internally. You stop thinking in terms of possibility and start thinking in terms of preservation. This shift is subtle. At first, you still believe you are growing. Your income improves. Your routines become smoother. You gain experience. People rely on you. Your life appears to be progressing. But internally, your decisions begin filtering through a different question. Not, what could expand my future, but what might threaten what I already have. And that question changes everything. The human brain is not designed to chase expansion forever. It is designed to conserve energy and protect existing resources. When life feels stable, the brain interprets that as a successful outcome. Success triggers defense. You begin protecting your current level of comfort as if it were fragile, even when it is not. This protection rewires risk perception. Opportunities that once felt manageable now appear dangerous. Career changes feel destabilizing. Learning new skills feels unnecessary. Exploration feels inefficient, because efficiency now means maintaining stability, not expanding capability. This is how stability narrows vision. You begin optimizing inside a system instead of questioning the system itself. You refine processes, improve performance, strengthen routines, but you stop redesigning direction. And the longer stability lasts, the harder redesign becomes. Not because you lack intelligence, because stability increases attachment. Attachment forms quietly. It forms through lifestyle alignment. Your expenses adjust to match income. Your commitments adjust to match schedule. Your identity adjusts to match your role. You begin saying things like, "This is just how life works." And once identity attaches to structure, change feels like loss. Loss of status, loss of certainty, loss of control, even when potential gain exists. This creates a psychological paradox. The more successful you become inside a stable structure, the less likely you are to question it. Success deepens inertia. You become highly optimized for a specific environment. Outside that environment, your confidence begins fading through lack of exposure. Imagine someone who has lived in the same climate for decades. Their body adapts to those conditions perfectly. But adaptation also reduces tolerance for extreme shifts. Stability works the same way. It makes you efficient inside one set of rules, and vulnerable if those rules change. This is why safe choices can become dangerous over time. Not because they are wrong in the present, because they reduce flexibility for the future. Flexibility requires discomfort, and stability removes discomfort. Without discomfort, growth slows invisibly. You begin preferring known outcomes over uncertain ones. You wait for better timing. You postpone changes that feel inconvenient. The mind tells you you are being strategic, but often you are simply delaying uncertainty. And uncertainty does not disappear because you delay it. It accumulates. The modern world amplifies this effect. Technology evolves faster than human habits. Entire skill sets lose relevance quietly. Systems reorganize without asking for personal readiness. The world becomes more dynamic precisely when individuals become more stable. This mismatch creates fragility. But fragility is not obvious while stability continues. It becomes visible only during disruption. And disruption rarely announces itself politely. It arrives through layoffs, automation, economic shifts, health events, unexpected competition, moments when stability is tested. People deeply adapted to stability often experience shock during these transitions. Not because they lack ability, because they have not practiced adaptation recently. Adaptation is a skill, and like any skill, it weakens without use. Those who occasionally step outside comfort, learning new tools, exploring unfamiliar territory, building parallel capabilities, maintain resilience. They never allow stability to fully replace adaptability. But most people, once comfortable, stop practicing uncertainty, because uncertainty feels unnecessary, until it isn't. Another subtle effect emerges over time. Stability shifts your reference point. You stop comparing your current self to your potential self. You compare it to your past struggles. As long as today feels better than yesterday, growth feels sufficient. But progress relative to past hardship is not the same as progress toward future independence. This is the quiet danger of the stability illusion. It convinces you that improvement has reached its natural ceiling, that things are good enough. Good enough is comfortable. But comfortable is rarely expandable, and expandable lives are the only ones prepared for change. The most dangerous moment is not when life feels unstable. It is when life feels stable enough that questioning it seems unnecessary, because that is when preparation stops. And preparation, not prediction, determines resilience. At some point, the realization becomes unavoidable. Stability was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be temporary alignment, a moment when your skills, environment, and circumstances happen to move in the same direction. For a period of time, everything works smoothly. Effort produces predictable results. Life feels manageable. But alignment is not the same as security. The world continues changing whether individuals prepare for change or not. And this is where the stability illusion quietly breaks. Many people believe resilience comes from building a perfectly stable life, eliminating uncertainty, minimizing risk, creating routines that protect against disruption. Yet resilience does not come from removing uncertainty. It comes from remaining capable within it. The strongest systems in nature are not the most rigid ones. They are the most adaptable. Trees that bend survive, storms that break rigid structures. Ecosystems survive through diversity, not uniformity. Human lives follow the same principle. When stability becomes rigid, flexibility disappears. And without flexibility, even small changes feel overwhelming. This is why safe choices slowly become dangerous. They work perfectly until conditions change. And conditions always change. The turning point for many people is not dramatic. It arrives as a quiet discomfort, a feeling that life has become predictable but smaller. That progress continues, yet possibilities feel narrower. You are not unhappy, but you are no longer expanding. This feeling often gets ignored because nothing appears broken. Responsibilities are fulfilled. Stability remains intact. From the outside, everything looks successful, but internally, curiosity fades. And curiosity is often the first signal of growth. When curiosity disappears, adaptation slows. When adaptation slows, dependence increases, and dependence quietly transfers control of your future to circumstances outside your influence. The stability illusion convinces people that control comes from predictability. In reality, control comes from capability. Capability means knowing you can adjust when necessary, that you can learn again, build again, redirect effort when the environment shifts. People who eventually move beyond the illusion do not abandon stability, they redefine it. Stability stops being something they rely on completely. Instead, it becomes a platform, a place from which they continue developing flexibility. They maintain movement even when life feels calm. They learn without immediate necessity. They explore ideas without urgent pressure. They build skills that may not be needed today but expand options tomorrow. These actions rarely look impressive in the moment, but they change something fundamental. Fear begins to lose authority, because fear depends on having only one path forward. Options dissolve fear, and options are built quietly, long before they are needed. Over time, identity changes as well. You stop defining yourself by your current structure, job, routine, or environment, and start defining yourself by capability. Not this is what I do, but this is what I can adapt to. That distinction changes how decisions feel. Change stops looking like threat and starts looking like movement, and movement restores awareness. You begin noticing opportunities again. You become more willing to experiment. Small uncertainties feel manageable rather than overwhelming. Life becomes dynamic again, not chaotic alive. This is the paradox few people recognize. True security is not created by avoiding change. It is created by staying capable of change. The people who appear calm during uncertainty are rarely those who built the safest lives. They are those who never allowed safety to replace adaptability. They practiced flexibility before it became necessary. They treated stability as temporary, even when it lasted years. And because of that, when change arrived, they moved with it instead of resisting it. The stability illusion fades the moment you understand one simple truth. Safe choices are not dangerous because they are wrong. They become dangerous when they are repeated without awareness, when safety becomes automatic instead of intentional, because unconscious stability slowly removes the very abilities required to remain secure in a changing world. The goal was never to eliminate stability. The goal was to prevent stability from becoming dependency. And once you see that difference, your relationship with safety changes completely. You stop asking whether life feels secure today. You start asking whether life remains adaptable tomorrow. And that question quietly transforms every decision that follows. Because in the end, stability is not something you arrive at. It is something you balance. Too little creates chaos. Too much creates fragility. But balance, the ability to remain stable while still evolving, is what allows a life to continue expanding long after others begin standing still. And the people who understand this are not the ones avoiding risk. They are the ones who never stopped preparing for change, even when everything felt safe.